We enter the worst time of year for single people, also known as the holidays. Just a reminder, you don't have to give dating advice. Actually, if you met your significant other in the basement of a frat house when you were 19 years old, or better yet, in your high school history class, you're not even qualified to give dating advice. Respectfully, you didn't date. You met someone in an isolated environment and then spent 10 years shaping them into the love of your life, and I love that. Jealous even. Can't relate, which is why you can't relate to what dating is like. And if you met your significant other before the turn of the century, you are also not qualified to give dating advice in the current century. Have you tried the apps? Yeah, I have. You know who hasn't? You. Which you love to point out. And I'm not trying to be a hater. Again, I'm happy that you found your person, but you are being a hater if you ask someone about their dating life and follow it up with, wow, that sounds awful. That's why I think it's better to meet someone when you're in college, or better yet, in the hospital the day you were born. Thanks.
And your favorite dish?
My favorite dish, I like mugs because they're very comfortable in your hand and they hold the hot things that you don't have to touch. So, coffee or hot tea.
For one thing, you're not trying to be a hater, you're just a naturally born hater, I guess, because all your videos are pretty much the same exact thing over and over again. But I just want to make a comment on this right here, this plate of food here. Lady, look, I saw some of your other videos, okay. You need to cut back on the calories big time. And I think you actually might have an easier time finding a guy that would be worth spending time with, I guess. This entire mentality that women have the ability to give dating advice. Women don't know anything about dating, okay? They don't know anything about life. They don't know anything about advice. It just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's cut these portions in half. I would probably not eat the rice. The broccoli looks pretty good. The salmon is, I guess that's a salmon right there. Some sort of a tomato type of concoction. I'm assuming maybe it's beets. I don't know. Yeah, definitely a lot of healthy foods here. You're just eating too much. You're eating too much and you are a little bit overweight. So that's just my opinion on that.
Go back now. I was with two family members, and after asking about my dating life, one looks at the other and is like, aren't you so glad we don't have to do that? God, I'd never want to be single and dating. Yeah, I almost committed a crime that night. This close to strangulation. But I'd really never find a man in prison. Well, an equally terrible thing to say is, well, if I were single, I'd love the apps. You need to be more open-minded. I've gone on dates with 35-year-old men who still go home on the weekends to have their moms do their laundry. I am being open-minded. So can we just eat our mashed potatoes and keep our advice to ourselves this holiday season?
What we need to do now is get focused and stop pointing fingers. You're a problem.
Yeah, that's impossible for women to do. They just like to give everyone unsolicited advice for anything, everything. And the problem is that it is usually the worst advice you will ever hear in your entire life, is any advice that's coming out of a woman's mouth.
Oh, fuck.
I think one of the hardest things about being a single mom is days like today. Today the kids had leadership day at school where you go in there and you hang out with them. And it really sucks because I'm both parents right now. And when they look at me and they're asking, where's daddy? Oh, what am I supposed to tell them? Like, I don't...
A, she was a hooah. B, she was a hooah.
Tell them what you did to push that man away. Tell them the truth. Tell them why you can't keep a man in your life. Tell them why you can't keep a strong male figure around these kids to make sure they grow up and not commit heinous crimes and not turn into online sellers of their body and whatnot. Because that's usually what happens. These kids get brought up in the wrong way. They start to do things they know they shouldn't be doing, and they start to repeating the same pattern of behaviors they have seen their mom repeat over and over in her life. So where did these men go? Nobody knows. And these women never tell us. So that kind of explains everything.
want to tell them the truth. And then they have been asking me about somebody else, seeing somebody else, and I'm sorry you can't see him either. It definitely hurts. I'm sorry.
You know, the thing about retarded people is they don't know that they're retarded.
Yeah, well, if you're dumb, you gotta be tough. That's what I say. If you're dumb, you gotta be tough. You gotta live through it. Okay, these kids, any kid born to a single mom is pretty much, he's getting sniped at the spawn point. It is what's happening. They're losing at the very beginning. It's a tragedy. I would recommend any woman that has a kid to keep the husband in their life. You know, if you have a child, it's very important to have that man in that child's life. And when that man isn't in that child's life, that's exactly what that child's going to be asking for. Where's daddy? Where's the other guy? Where's the man? And guess what? You're pushing them all away. So yeah, congratulations.
Question for the men. Why do men no longer approach women in public? I feel like back in the day, it was so common for men to go up to women and, like either strike up a nice little convo or ask them out, but that doesn't seem to be happening anymore. I don't know. So yeah, what's up with that? Question for the men. Why do men no longer approach women in public? I feel like back in the day, it was so common for men to...
The short answer is that we were told not to. And the long answer is that it doesn't matter how big your booty is, how floppy your melons are, how pretty you are, anything. A lot of men are going to weigh the risks and the perks of approaching someone like that in public, and they're going to choose to not do that because it's safer, it's easier, and it's less of a headache.
I just got that old-fashioned romantic feeling where I'd do anything to bone her. That's a special feeling, huh?
With each passing day of being single, I get closer and closer to just wanting a lavender marriage. I just really would love to be married to a twink who has a boyfriend that lets me... I'm gonna get banned on this app.
My offer is this. Nothing.
Yeah, so if you don't know what that is, fellas, a lavender marriage is whenever a gay woman and a gay man get married, I guess, and they do gay stuff together, but not together, I guess. I don't know. I just know what that means. I don't really know a whole lot about gay people. But it sounds like she just wants a man to split the bills with. I thought you were strong and independent. Why don't you take care of yourself?
Gotcha, bitch!
I just deleted all of my dating apps. Not because I found someone, but because all I have found is pain and misery and suffering. So if you're a man, take this as your sign to start approaching women in public, please. Please. And I don't mean like at the club, at the bar. I mean like at Target. Shoot your shot at Target. Nothing matters anymore. Literally nothing matters. You can say anything and it's going to be better, a million times better, guaranteed, than the demonic activity that goes on these apps.
I'll approach you in China. China fit my balls in your mouth, bitch.
How are these men real? How are they real? I'm gonna be put in a fucking psych ward! They're all evil. They're all fucking evil. They manipulate you. It's all a game to them. This isn't a joke anymore. We need to stop saying boys are just stupid. They know how to play this. They know how to play this fucking silly little games to have you on the fucking string. This is not an exaggeration either.
You could trouble me for a warm glass of shut the hell up.
This is, and I'm not being hyperbolic here, but this is almost every woman. They have been completely destroyed by all of the random dudes that have been in and out of their life and in and out of their panties and everything else. So yeah, they are completely broken, damaged. They're no good. Yeah, congratulations. I wonder why men are choosing to not approach women like this or to just stay the hell away from them.
I think I have a real dilemma. So I'm 31 years old, I'm single, I live alone, I make my own money, I pay my own bills. I've been through a lot of heartbreak. I've been in relationships with people that I was convinced I was gonna marry. Obviously those relationships didn't work out. I've recently reached a point where I'm like starting to go on dates and like give guys the time of day again. But I went on like a year of like self-work, just like focusing on myself and not entertaining the opposite sex and like just solely focusing on me and like what I want in a partner, what I need to improve on, like period. I took a year and just didn't date at all. And my dilemma is I fear that I've gotten to a point where like it's gonna take a literal godsend for me to change my routines and like allow somebody into my life, allow myself to be vulnerable again with someone, like it's actually kind of terrifying, honestly.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
It does sound terrifying. It's even more terrifying is when I tell you that a man is not going to fit into your life. Okay, that's not what men are supposed to do. Okay, lives are supposed to be built together around the couple. So if you're expecting for a man to come into your life and fit perfectly into your perfect little life and do everything you want him to do, your dream guy, he's gonna do everything perfectly and do this and do that, you are a complete moron.
By this imbecile. And I mean it, she's a low IQ person.
I'm like, am I ever gonna find someone, or are my standards just too high? I don't know. I haven't gone on like a lot of dates, but I've gone on a good amount. And I don't know, I can't tell if I'm being too picky or if they're just not the right people. Maybe I'm being impatient.
It doesn't matter. None of that really matters when you're past 30 and you're sitting alone in your apartment and you have nothing to live for. You have no options. No men are looking to spend time with you. They're only looking to hit you up on random dating apps so they can plow you. They're not looking to make you a mom. They're not looking to make you a wife. They're only looking to put some stains on your cocktail dress and send you on your way for the next guy. That is going to be your destiny, unfortunately. But see, the time where these women have all the options are the same exact times where these women choose all the wrong options. And I don't see how that's any of these other men's problems. It's not a man's problem to come and fit nicely into your life. That's not going to happen. So if you're waiting around for a guy to do that, then you're going to be waiting for a very, very long time. But anyway, fellas, I'm going to wrap it up. Let me know what you think. Peace.